So you may be asking yourself, hey, Alessio, what do you think? Should I be hiring a coach either for myself or for my kid? Well, here's my take on it. It depends. It depends because, first of all, when we talk about hiring a coach, you don't have to just find a coach. You need to find a good coach. And depending on where you live and different like countries, different locations, it may be more difficult to find really good coaches that can help you improve your son's skills or your own skills if you're finding the coach for yourself. What I would say as a rule of thumb is if you can't get a really good coach, then don't get a coach at all. Like honestly, that's what my take on that, because there's this formula that I believe is what is required to go fast at getting better in karting, is that you need to have track time, quantity track time, so the quantity of your track time times the quality of the track time. So you need to do a lot of driving, but also good practice, like seeing good coaching and good feedback. But the problem is that if you have a lot of track time, but you have bad coaching, like they tell you bad, like instead of telling you, oh, you should be braking late and hard, and instead they're telling you, no, you should be brake early and soft, and you get to go on the gas very early, stuff like that. Like I really hate and I cringe when I see drivers or I hear drivers telling me this from other teams or from other countries. And when I hear that, I'm like, oh my God, they would be probably better off to not have any kind of coach than to receive bad coaching. So you understand my point is that you need quantity of track time, but you also need the quality of track time. And if the quality of track time is negatively affected by by a coach that is not as good, you will be going backwards. Instead of like doing track time and getting better, you'll do getting track time and getting worse. And you don't want that, because obviously track time takes time, takes money and everything. So you don't want to get worse when you drive. If anything, you want to stay the same or get better. Even though I believe there's no such a thing as staying the same. This is just a side note. Like if you don't drive, you're not staying the same. You get worse. I honestly try to not drive for one full year, and you'll see that when you drive, like, oh, I need to relearn how to drive, stuff like that. You kind of need to take some rust off, and it takes a while to get back to the level. So on a side note, if you don't drive for like a month, do not expect to stay the same. You actually go worse. So this is very important. Oh yeah, going back to the coaching bits. So if you have access to really high quality coach, then please go for it. Obviously, again, it costs money and it costs time. Like, understand, nowadays coaches can ask you up to like 350 euros per day plus sometimes expenses. So I understand the cost related to that. It's not something that um, everyone can afford, and I certainly couldn't afford when I was a kid, even though I wanted to. We had a karting team. BabyRace has been since 2007. So since I was 9, my father founded the team so he could make it more affordable for me and my brother. But yeah, I never quite got a coach until I got Formula cars, and I fell in love this, and like not fell in love, but like one time I had a coach in a race in Formula 3, and there was like this team coach it was in Pole Grand Prix car. It was like at Carling, and it was the first time there was this team coach, and it was the first time for me. So I was like, oh, okay. So I tried to steal as much knowledge as possible, like to try to extrapolate as much, because it was not just there for me. It was not probably, it was like for a bunch of drivers. So it was like, but it was so useful that I was actually able to set pole position in the wet, and I was able to win the Formula 3 Pole Grand Prix in front of driver in P2. It was Lance Stroll, and P3 was George Russell, and they went on to become Formula 1 drivers. But that, just to say that was the first weekend that I had access to a coach, and when having this outside perspective, looking at my video, looking me out on the track, and giving me some feedback here and there, even though it was not private, it was just for the whole team. That really benefited me, and I really fell in love with that. And unfortunately, we didn't have that coach anymore for the other races, and performance wasn't as good. I can't just say that was the reason, but I'm just saying that also when I got up to, now it's called GP3, like Formula 3, but back then I was GP3. I did a race in GP3 in Abu Dhabi, and I also had a coach there. That was a private one. It was quite expensive, but yeah, he helped me out a lot. I could see the really good, but he was like a really, really, really good one. Like like top of the class. So obviously, like I learned a ton of him from him. So obviously, in an ideal world, I would have had the chance to work with a coach full time. Unfortunately, I couldn't. That's why here at Senndit, we're also trying to, like, the vision is to give a more affordable coaching to everybody in a remote way, so that not only the people who live close to coaches, like in my area here, there's so many coaches, but like if you live in Asia or in Africa, it's a bit more difficult, or South America. Yeah, you may get access to some coaches, but they would have to fly in, like spend a lot of money on the hotels and flights, and then you would have to maybe just do the coaching for 2 days or 3 days, and that's not very worth it. So yeah, if you can have access to that kind of coaching, that please go for it. Please, that's really good. That's a really good investment. Really good investment in yourself, or a really good investment in your son's career, your son and your daughter career. And if though you don't have the chance to access a really good coach and you use like just one coach, either you try it out for a day, like, okay, we see. But if it's somebody that people don't recommend you very well, you'd be better off to just not do any coaching at all and just like letting the kid figure it out on his own. It's gonna take more time to figure it out, like the optimal driving technique on his own, but it's still gonna figure it out on his own, I believe so. Especially if he's driving against like many drivers on the track. Like if the track that he's practicing, training is filled of good drivers, then he's naturally going to pick up the same driving style, etc. He's going to emulate. Like you learn by just staying around other people and by just kind of not coping, but just emulating them. So that's the right word. Like he's gonna be better off in that case by just driving on his own. But yeah, here's the thing: if you can't, if you still want to access really high quality coach remotely, then that's what we're here providing at Senndit. We're trying to make it easy for everybody to access coaching, because I believe it's really powerful. Like you can receive just one single feedback, one single advice by looking at an onboard video, and that advice may change completely your career trajectory. Maybe it's just as simple as saying, hey, mate, you're not using the whole track on the entry. You're like giving out half a meter to the white line every single time. And while that may not be as evident as a mistake, like missing the corner and going straight into the grass, like everybody, even newbie, can tell you, hey, what the hell you're doing. But like this kind of nuanced coaching advices that not everybody will be able to, and only the very experienced ones will be able to give you. If you receive this kind of coaching tips at the right time, they can completely change your career trajectory, because next time you're going to on the track, you're going to be like, oh, I need to remember that. Oh, I need to remember that. Oh, I remember that. And so at the beginning, you'll have to consciously think, okay, I have to do that. I have to do that. But then it's going to be automatic. It's going to be an autopilot. Your subconscious is going to make you do those things. Be it use the whole track on entry, be perfectly hitting the apexes, turning at the right point, not turning too early, being like hitting the brakes super late and holding them hard so you can stop efficiently into the corners. Throttle application be at the correct point, not too early, etc., etc. So all these sorts of things that they pay dividends in the long term. So yeah, always remember when you have this, this choice to make: should I hire a coach or not? Like even if you just do it for like a race, I'm talking about good coach, that's still gonna be a good investment, because that's, even if it's just for a race, but it's like you're gonna learn so much, ideally, if you are proactive and if you actually want to do this. If you are hiring the coach, like say you're the parent, but the kid doesn't give a crap and is like not listening to the coach and is like completely bad attitude, it's like, oh, then don't hire the coach anymore, and reconsider whether your kid should still be driving. Like honestly, the kid should understand that the coach is a bit of a gift. It's like they don't have to understand that they give for granted the coach. The coach is there, and they should be grateful towards like the parents for like giving the chance and to hire the coach, and also for the coach to be there. Like they should be grateful to both. But if the kid is not handling well, it's like, no, I don't want a coach, or like stuff like that, I don't know, then like you have to really reconsider whether the kid wants it bad enough, like whether you should keep investing in his career. Like honestly, I'm not saying that in a negative way, but it's like that. That's normally a sign. If you see that someone doesn't want to work with a coach and they are like very, very cold towards that and like trying to not take advantage of that, then it means, yeah, something is wrong. But yeah, if you're able to work with if the kid is able to drive the kid or the adult, like whatever, like whoever. If the driver is able to work with the coach for a race weekend, even if it's just for a race weekend, you're still gonna be able to learn so much and carry it into the other races. And so you don't have to necessarily do it for the whole year. It's fine even if you just do it for a few races or just one race or just one testing day. People may not be able to afford it for a long, like for a full program. And so if they just do it for a few testing days, you'll be able to make a lot of improvements and ideally fix mistakes in a driving style that is not just track related, but it's just is driving style related. For example, you may have a posture issue. You may be like driving like that, or you may be driving like leaning into like the corners like an MotoGP driver, stuff like that. Like say like if you do a tiny bit, it's not a problem, but if you do like so much, it is a problem. And if you have this kind of macro issues on your driving style, somebody can come in and fix it in a few days. Then that's it. You don't have to. I mean, you may still have, for sure. There's always something to improve. Like everyone should be coachable. Like if somebody thinks that he's not coachable, if thinks that he's arrived, that's the moment it's going to start to go slower and getting worse performance. Like in Formula One drivers have coaches, like mental coaches, etc. They may not have driving coaches, but like they have the like coaches for everything else. But there are so many athletes, like tennis players have coaches. They all have coaches at whatever levels they get. And you should be coachable because you can always learn from somebody, even if they are less good than you. For example, I don't believe that the coach of Rafa Nadal is better than Rafa Nadal. And Rafa Nadal is probably better than the coach. But the thing is that the coach, even though he might not be as good as who's coaching, but he is from the outside, is able to, from the sidelines, tell, okay, he's doing this, that's good. He's doing that, that's not good. We gotta fix that. So he can see things from the outside that you can't see from the first person, and you may have lots of experience because coaching is, the coach may not be as good as in the actual sport, or maybe he used to be really good. Think about all the football coaches, right? All the best, like Zidane or like Ancelotti, all of the ones that have been players in their 20s or the 30s, and then obviously in their 50s or 60s, they're doing coach, like they can't play anymore. So it's difficult to compare, like, oh, is the coach better than me playing right now? Like you can't make those comparisons in a fair way. But you can always assume that the coach knows what he's saying, knows what he's doing, and he has been driving the, like, if the coach has never done that sport even once, let's say a karting coach has never driven a go-kart once, that's a problem. That's a red flag. You should not hire him. I'm sorry, but this is the way. Like if I pretend to be a let's say a sport that I haven't done, like a karate coach, and I've never done karate, even though I've done judo, but it's not different. Like if I pretend to be a karate coach, I'm fooling everybody. I'm fooling myself. I'm fooling the guy. Like, so if somebody's trying to be a coach, but he's he's never actually driven the go-kart or like been a racing driver like in the past, then what are we talking about? I see sometimes mechanics that are showing up as coaches, but have never done that thing. Like they have never dreamed that thing. Yes, you may have a lot of outside perspective and technical knowledge, but hey, when we're talking about driving dynamics, you need to have felt it. You need to know what you're talking about. Like you can't expect to be good at like getting the person in front of you to understand what you're trying to wanting to change if you can't articulate well. Like if I have never driven a go-kart, how can I explain the feeling of locking the tires on the brakes, or the feeling of like nailing the apex, or the feeling of using your outside hand mostly than the inside hand, like when you're leaning to a corner? Like you can read in books, you can study memory and stuff like that, you can watch YouTube videos of other people explaining that, but that's not going to be the same as like looking at yourself when you're on the track. So yeah, be picky, very picky who you select as a coach, if you do. But yeah, remember, track time is very important. Like it's better to do 10 days of track time without a coach per month than doing 3 days of track time with a coach. Yeah, in a nutshell. So yeah, if that coach cost becomes too high for you to go driving, then I'd rather do more driving without a coach and just hire him when it's needed. But yeah, if you feel like you want some remote coaching at more of an affordable rate, but still a very high coaching that doesn't doesn't BS, doesn't give you bullshit, and goes straight to the point by watching your video on boards and watching your data. Just let us know. You can check the link below, and perhaps we can we can start a journey together. But yeah, whatever. I'm not here to sell you coaching service. I'm here to tell you just generally, like, listen, coaching is could be good if you have a really good coach, but otherwise you just go for it without it. Like, the kid is gonna figure it out, which is full transparency. I was able to win a world championship without a coach. So if I did it, you can do it too. But yeah, nowadays the competition is very high, very strong, and it was also back in the days. But now, like, everyone has got mental coach, a driver coach. Sometimes they have like a physio coach. Or there's Formula Medicine. There's there's other companies that are providing like fitness training like not training, but like fitness warm ups, etc., exercises on the racetrack. So the bar has been raised from all this like satellite services, and so being a like having a driver coach may be more important today than it used to be in the past. Since in the past there weren't basically any driver coaches. Like, it's something that I noticed that the driver coach thing started like in 2017, 18, 2019, something like that. And now it's obviously growing massively. But before, like, very few people had a coach. There was Fullerton and Mike Wilson. They were the first coaches that I knew that they have always been, in coaching. But the younger ones, they all started very, very, very recently, like last few years. But yeah, so just go ahead and find yourself the best coach if you can. Otherwise, just go out and do your track time, putting the laps, the repetition, build your muscle memory, and that you're gonna be fine. Anyways.